Well, hello everyone. Today, as I underlined earlier, we will be dealing with the ASP.NET development. So we will have a few things to handle today. First of all, we will probably create a new page, new website, and I will show you a few of the tools that we have, the components like text boxes and buttons and so on. I already gave you some examples in the lecture. Nevertheless, I will try to build a page, but right now I have no idea what I'm going to build, so let's go ahead and try something. So I'm opening Visual Studio, and we will not be dealing with the database. So this test2 is just something that I recently created, so it should be empty. Let's see. Yeah, there is no page yet. So let me go ahead, right click, add new item, and what I'm going to add, it's not an HTML page now, so we will add web forms. So once we are creating an ASPX, you need to choose a web form. And we will not be using master pages yet, so there is no need to say web form with master page. So let's say the file name is default.aspx. So I'm waiting. Okay, the page is here. So let's see the design view. Okay, that's good. Now, first of all, as you see, we will have the items in the toolbox probably. Okay, we are waiting for Visual Studio to handle this. Okay, now the list is populated, so we have all the items that are available. So first of all, I think I will just go ahead and create a table. But I don't want to create an ASP table, I want to create an HTML table to arrange the components, because I will not be using CSS, and therefore I want to arrange the things with a table at this point. So, like, okay, it has 3 columns here, so I want to get rid of one of those columns. So let me say delete columns. Okay, it's deleted. Alright, so I think we can go ahead and create some sort of a login page. Let me just do Control Z. Okay. Now create a login page. Not login perhaps, but some sort of a registration page. So I can use labels for this purpose to show the fields that are required, and perhaps, yeah, this table I will arrange it a little. Okay, and I think I all deleted the column, but actually it was not needed. Columns to the right, let me say, okay, because I want the third one. So now the label, okay, let me copy and paste this label here. And I will not be changing the IDs of the labels because I will not use them in the code. So row below, I want to add more rows as well. So let's go ahead and add a few rows. Okay, and I will just copy these labels again. So this label, now I can change the text of this label. So let me say first name, and the other label last name, and perhaps the third one should be email, and the fourth one should be what? Country, let's say. And for this, let's say password, and also I will add another row here below. So yeah, I can say repeat password or something like that. Okay. Now for the first name, last name, email, country, not country, but first name, last name and email, we just need to have a single line text box. So I'm copying these text boxes here, email, and for the password we also can deal with the single line. Actually, I can make text boxes a bit larger, so I will just delete these and just start copying and pasting this one. So yes, okay. For the passwords, of course I'm not going to show the person who's typing the actual password, so from here, text mode, changing single line to password. So okay, I changed this one. Let me save this. So if I go to source, you will realize that for this text box 4, I will change the names of these text boxes, by the way. Text mode tag, if you realize here, text mode attribute is password. So I can actually go ahead for the text box 5, which is the repeat password. I can say text mode, and as you see, it will provide me the options, so I can say password. Okay. So for the email or the others, so text box 6, this is the first name, for example, I think. Yeah, label ID, label 1, text box ID, txt first name, I'm saying first name, and last name is txt last name, and this is email, txt email. And let's see if we have some valid text mode available for email. Yeah, we have. So I picked email, and the others are set up already. So okay, I'm saving this again, and let's see how it looks like on Internet Explorer. So okay, it's booting up. The server is being set up, so it takes a while. Okay, so first name, I can type something. Oops, I opened caps lock. Okay, then email.com, something, and the password, and the other password. Okay, so it works. Now, the third thing here, another thing, we need to add the drop-down list for country. It is unbound at this point. Let me check the sizes of these text boxes so that I can arrange the drop-down in similar fashion. Width is 160 pixels, so I am going to use the same thing for the drop-down as well, so that it looks similar, it's consistent. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully it works this way. Now, I am clicking the arrow here, and as we are not choosing data source yet, as we did not deal with databases, I will just go ahead and click on edit items. Now for the items, I think I will add 2 items. One is United Kingdom, let's say, and the other one is United States. United States. Okay, the values can remain that way. Okay, so we added these. Now let's see this page on the Internet Explorer. Okay, so yeah, we can obviously pick the one that we wish. However, the width does not fit because this is drop down, this is not text box, so I need to make it a bit larger, perhaps like this. Maybe it will work this way. Yeah, obviously I need to arrange it a little bit more, but I think that's not needed. See, even the height is problematic. So, anyways, I will not deal with the arrangement as I am not dealing with CSS. I don't wish to try hard here. So, however, the components are already there. So, yeah, by the way, on campus, if you remember, I was dealing with, I was trying to find the stop button. So here, that's what I was talking about, this red button over here. Once you click on this, basically it closes the debug mode, and therefore you can just stop dealing with this debug mode and you can actually change the page. Before you click that one, you should not be able to post changes to the page. It will not be working fine. So it's a good idea to, especially for the toolbox and CSS, as you see there, they disappeared as the background. The Internet Explorer is working here, so that button is important. Now anyways, okay, we created these. For the button, I will just add a button here randomly, and perhaps for this button I can change the text box name, the button name, and so on. So let's check the other names for the text boxes and so on. So for the drop down list, I can say list country, and for this text box, for txt password, and for the other one txt password 2. Okay, and button 1 is button submit. Okay, now I change the IDs for this, and of course it should not say button. Let me just put something here, submit. Okay, now for another point, we are now going to deal with the validation. So for example, compare validator, it compares things. So let me just add one compare validator here and just carry this here. So for the compare validator, value to compare, this is the point that you can add something here. What is the value? And then you might be able to assign things to this one, and the validation group, which validation group it belongs to, etc. So the validators work this fashion, and now I can actually go and add range validator, validation summary, required field validator, and so on. Nevertheless, what I'm going to do is I will try to implement my own way of dealing with this first, and later on we will be dealing with the validations. So I can add a label. So the labels work this way. The labels are useful. So I can say, I can put an asterisk and say this field is required. Okay, now for this color, I can change the fore color to red, perhaps. Yes, this field is required. And for the last name as well, and for the email, and for the password, and for the repeat password. Now these are important fields, and therefore I need to change the ID names of these as well. For example, this one's ID is label 7. No, I will say label first name, and for this one, label last name, and again label email, label password, and label password 2. Okay. Now submit is there, and also I'm going to add some sort of a some sort of a component to display the information that I'm actually typing there. So this might be, let's see what we can use. Button, calendar, checkbox, and so on. Image, label, link button, list box, literal, so localize, substitution, radio button. I think I can just go ahead and put some text box over there. Put it there and make this text box read only. Here I'm changing the property to read only true. Text mode is not single line, it is actually multi-line, and I can make it a bit large like this. Okay, let me see if it is read only. Let's see. Yes, I cannot type anything. So okay, this is alright. Now the fields are there. As you see, this field is required and so on. Obviously this is not a nice thing to have. So I need to hide them. and therefore I will change their visible property to false. So false, okay, save, and let's go to the source and see what happened. Visible false, right? False, right? So now I'm copying and pasting this to the other labels as well. So, okay, visible false, then here, visible false, and visible false. Okay, let's just boot the Internet Explorer again. Okay, those are gone. So, now the entire process will begin once I click the submit button, right? Because let's think about it. Let's see the page again. Now, once I start typing the things, it is okay. It doesn't need to check anything. But once I click submit, it should display something. But if you realize it says you must enter a valid email address, it is an automatic check because previously, once we were dealing with the items, for that text box, we indicated that the text mode is email. Obviously, it cannot check if the email is valid or not, but it can at least check if the format is suitable. So that's the reason it does not accept something like this, but it accepts something similar to this one. So as you see, the submit works actually. So now at this point, for this section, I would like to display the summary if the submission is accepted. So what I'm going to do is I need to check the first name. However, once we click, this should happen once we click the button, right? So basically I will go to design and double click submit. So okay, button submit, click. For the click, once we just get the click, we need to check the components. So if, let's say, what sort of things should be required actually? First name, last name, and email, and passwords for sure. So if, let's say, let's deal with the first name first. Text first name dot text is equal to nothing. Label first name dot visible true. Now I will explain what's happening. Okay, this is saved, right? Okay, first name is this one. Okay, I mistakenly used single quotes. It's an addiction from JavaScript because JavaScript accepts both, right? So let's go ahead and check this out. When I click submit, it worked because I put space over there. So there shouldn't be space. I'm going to delete this space here. Basically what I'm saying is empty string. So if it is an empty string, then there's a problem. As you see, this field is required. It is shown. So I will do the same thing for the rest, for the last name and the email as well. So changes are not allowed, as you see, because while the code is running, and therefore I'm pressing this stop debugging button. And I will say or text last name equals to empty string, or text password, text email equals to empty string. For the passwords we can also do that, or text password equals to. However, the problem is this. Okay, anyways, let's proceed and implement this, but then we need to underline which ones are missing. So, oh, of course I forgot to add the text, right? So, okay, text email dot text, text password dot text, and text password 2 dot text. Okay. So now here at this point, which one to display? So basically I need to check one by one once again. I can say if text first name dot text is equal to this one, then label first name. However, I will let you know about the other thing. Now, okay, for the first name, that's okay. First name, label first name dot text. No, I don't want to change the text. Visible true. Okay. Then I can go ahead and put the if blocks here. So let me just copy and paste this 5 times. Txt last name, txt email, txt password, and txt password 2. Okay. And this one, label last name, label email, label password, and label password 2. Okay. Now let's boot it again and see if it works. So let's say something here, so on, and click submit. Yes. Now the problem is this: if I put something here and click submit, it will not disappear. Or, of course, let's try this. It will appear, but once I put something, it will not disappear. So you need to check this, and therefore the validation controls are much better. So at this point, what we can do, we can go ahead and put a lot of ifs this way to check whether there's a text or not. So for example, I can also add the else block, else this one false, right? So label first name dot visible false, I can say. So it is fixed this way. If an else block for each one of them can do the trick, I'm just, you know, going the easy way. So this way it works. Obviously there are more complex schemes with the validation controls and so on, and actually much better, but I'm just trying to show you how you can actually implement that control by yourself. So okay, let's see. Okay, again the same thing. Okay, if I fill something here, alright, something here, you must enter a valid email address, so it's not accepted. Now it is accepted. And some password here. Would you like to store your not for this site? I don't want it. Okay, but of course when I press submit, it's making it disappear. So once the submit is accepted, we need to take care of this. So okay, now that is fine. Actually for the passwords, the control is the repeat password. Now the repeat password should match with the normal password, and therefore we are going to implement that as well. So this is how the labels are being appeared. Now another case, this case was, let's say, this case entirely for basically to check if the required fields are there, and there will be other things like, for example, to check if the passwords match. So for this we can actually go ahead and put another if statement. If txt password dot text equals to txt password2 dot text, Of course, we should be checking probe not equal. Here I can actually change the label for the password to and say .text. I'm trying to okay. .text passwords do not match, and label password to visible true. So at this point, as you see, for the else, we need to have a block actually, rather than a single statement. We need to change the text of the label password, at least label password 2 as well. So label password 2 dot text equals to this field is required. Label password 2 dot visible false. Yeah, but this field is required is not for the else block, right? So it should be for the, if this is correct, if it's empty, then we need to have a block actually, yeah. Okay, visible true. Before that, I will add this field is required. Alright. So, else. Now, for this one, do we need to have an else? No, we do not. Okay. And now, once these conditions are satisfied, we should be able to submit the content. So, how do we deal with that? Now, let's see the default ASPX again, and let's see if the password scheme works for us. So, let's go ahead and check this again. Adhan, Adnolu, email, something, yeah, United Kingdom, password. I typed something randomly here. Now, passwords do not match. Okay, that's alright. Now, I am typing the same password. Okay, once I click submit, this should be disappeared. So, because passwords match now. And if the passwords do not match, then basically we can say something here. We can have an actually integer or something, or boolean validate or something equals to 0, or what 0? Not 0. Well, invalidate false, let's say. So validate is assigned but never used. That's fine. So if it is an empty string, no. But obviously at this point, as we know, that there is some problem if it gets into here. We know that there is a problem. So we can do a few things. First of all, we can either not deal with this validate that I'm creating. You could say the validate becomes false, well, validate remains false here, or something. Or you can initially start the validate as true and then change the validate to false if there is something wrong. Or you can actually go ahead and check if the fields are full first. If the fields are full, then you check the password text if they match. So you can go ahead with else if actually. Then if they match, then what is the problem? If they match, there is no problem, right? So you go ahead and say else, and perhaps you can submit it properly here. And here, just in case, as all the labels should be disappearing, and there might be visible labels from the previous statement, especially the passwords, I want to make sure that they are not visible anymore. Visible false. Okay. And then we proceed with the submit. So what we do here is the text box. Now I will change the ID of this text box to, let's say, txt display or something like that. Okay, txt display. Now we can say txt display equals to, now we can go ahead and type something, right? So txt first name dot text plus, put a space, plus txt last name dot text. Okay. Now for the txt display though, I can say string for the txt display, rather than typing it into txt display, I can use plus equals, right? So plus equals will work. So what's wrong here? Cannot convert type string to system text box. Of course, again, I always forget this. Dot text. Yeah, sure. So here it should work. Yes. So we added this. Then we can go ahead and put this one here. So let's see what we can do. We will continue with the email, txt email.text. Okay, and probably we don't wish to display the nation. No, we can display the nation, we don't wish to display the password, right? So txt display.text plus equals txt, what was it, country? No, it was not txt, okay. Drop down list, what was it, list country, dot text would not work, dot selected value. Okay. Alright, CS club meeting, message came to my Facebook, okay. Now, alright, let's see if it works, or let's see if I forgot something, because again, as I said, I am just improvising something here, so let's see. Okay, I'm typing everything properly, United Kingdom, and this one, and submit. Yes. And I cannot edit this. Yeah. When I click backspace, it actually goes back, so okay. So basically, I fetch the information after everything is valid. So, if it was not valid, oh, I forgot to put asterisk for this one. Okay, this should have an asterisk as well, and this one should have an asterisk here. Okay, save, and oops, and we can have. Okay, that's good. Let's check again. For example, if I just type my name and submit, nothing is displayed. Last name, submit, still nothing displayed. A proper email, submit, nothing. One password, not for this site. The field is required, so it's not displaying anything. One password, the other random password. Passwords do not match. Okay. Now let's see if it changes. One password again. This field is required. Okay. Then the same password. Then it fetches and displays my information there. So okay. So basically, this is actually, with an easy way, you could actually assign the validation groups and so on, and you could have this compare validator and assign it between password and repeat password. You could have the required field validator and assign it to all these fields, and basically it would easily handle these. But right now, as we are starting to, develop with ASP.NET C#, I just want you to, get the things going by just writing the actual C# code in the back. So basically, I'm just going to show everything this way for you. Later on, I will try to, show you some tips and tricks about ASP.NET development. So yeah, I think this works. Now also, I would like to say there is another way. For example, if we had another page, let me add a new item, and let's call this web form as I don't know, webform1.aspx is okay. Okay, now let me say this is the second page. Okay, let's put it there. And for the submit button click, we displayed this text display and so on, and there is a command here in ASP. Once you say response.redirect, then you basically give the string of the URL. You can say actually for our webform1.aspx. Okay, let's try if it works. Of course I need to fill everything properly, right? So let me just go ahead and do that. Okay, as you see, this is the second page. Now, most commonly, what happens is, rather than displaying everything right away here, you need to basically display it in another page. So, what we can do for that? There is a concept called session state concept. So you can actually create sessions for your, basically for a particular user's session. You can actually get those values. So let me close these first, and let me show you. Actually, it's like the slides. Perhaps we have something. Session state. Okay, overview. Because although we will be dealing with this later on, I just wish to show this to you now so that you can pass values. As you see, for the session, for example, the first name, you can assign some value to this session object, basically. Then, if you wish to fetch it, okay, if it has an example, I will show it to you again. If you wish to fetch this one, alright, where is it? Okay, code examples. How to say read values from session state. Okay, so as you see, the string blah blah, and then you are converting this session's information. So that's the idea. And therefore, at this point, we could say, once the submit is accepted, so the passwords match and everything is all right, we could say session first name. As you see here in the previous example, right? Let me show it to you again here. So yeah, as you see here, first name equals to blah blah. So, but obviously these session objects are actually, this is an array. So the session refers to the current session state. So basically a user logs onto your website and this is a session. So now as the user is on your server, you can keep some session information within the server, and therefore I wish to keep first name object here, and I wish to assign text to this, the first name's text. So that is kept. Now I would like to get the last name, email and country, right? So last name, email and country. Okay. Well, actually email and country, just forget about those. I can actually use, yeah, the last name works. I think txt last name. Alright, .text. Okay, save. Now response redirect to default, those two. So we are sending the user, after we get this session information, we are sending the user to webform1. So the next step is, so basically as you are dealing with the ASP.NET now, you really need to use this Microsoft's documentation portal, msdn.microsoft.com. They will have good deal of examples here, so you need to check. So basically the read is this one, right? So you create a string first, then you convert this session information to a string, and you indicate which field you are calling. So that's it. So if I show it to you the same way, basically I can go ahead and add something here, like welcome. Then I can go ahead and add a label, right? Welcome label. So at this point, when I just go to the code behind for this web form1.aspx, once the page loads, I can get this session information. So string first name equals to basically session. So I think I said first name this way. Okay. Okay, and string last name equals to session. Okay, this will obviously say convert object to string, and therefore I will explicitly convert this to string then. Okay. String. Let's do the same thing here. Because otherwise, as you saw, it says this is an object, I cannot directly convert it. So you need to explicitly convert these to strings. So last name. Okay. So I got these information. And now I'm going to use this strings. So label 1, I didn't change the ID, right, for this page. So label 1 dot text equals to fname plus a space plus lname. So I created this string. Okay. So let's see what happens if it works. Yeah, of course, if I start from this page, it will not work. But I need to start from the main page, right? Okay. So let me type Alihan Hadunolu, then type the email and some password here, another password, click submit. As you see, it says welcome Alihan Hadunolu. And therefore, once you are making a transition between pages, and if you wish to carry some of the previous information from the previous page to the new page, you need to keep the session state. And session state is an object actually, and it is like an array, as you see the notation with the brackets and so on. So you can have fields for the session object, and you can carry those fields for the next page. And therefore this way it works better, because the first example, it was just a single page example, right? So you did not know how to transfer the previous information to the new page. Actually, in the lecture we were talking about the state concepts, but I did not explain you clearly what is this state concept. I said, well, ASP holds this state information of the page, of the user's actions, interactions, and so on. But actually it works this way. So you can just transfer the user between pages and still keep the information that the user typed previously. And therefore you can handle this functionality. So for this one, basically for you, what I would like you to do as an assignment is not the form. Well, actually it will be a single page problem, but hopefully you were not having difficulties dealing with this previous calculator idea. But anyways, even if you had difficulties, now as you completed that task, now you can actually go ahead and create an ASP.NET calculator, which is actually better because you will not have to deal with this JavaScript separated, HTML separated kind of thing, and you will be basically dealing with the ASP in one single page. So that is easier perhaps, and dealing with perhaps C# is a better idea. So rather than dealing with JavaScript. So, and trying to change the inner HTMLs or something. So, or the documents text. So this way it is better. You can create a label to display the results and so on. So just arrange the similar calculator that you previously did. Add buttons and change the buttons text and try to arrange a calculator here and just submit this as an assignment. So I think I will post this assignment again on Thursday, so it should be posted in the morning, so you can go to the assignment section and check the recent assignment there. So that should be it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope these videos are helpful.